This is Gordon Dunaway, the one, the only DBSG. Give me back my pro wrestling.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This is Steve BOWTIE Bryant here. Back in the 90s, I was a pro wrestling photographer for the South, and I released what might have been one of the original sets of indie trading cards. I ran across some of these original sets. They were up in Randall Fanning's attic all this time. PG-13 rookie card, Ricky Morton, George Weingroff as the Sheik, Chris Champion, Reno Riggins, Billy Montana, Gary Valiant, the Scorpion, the Medic, Rick Reynolds, Jeff Daniels, Mephisto and Dante, Ben Jordan, Steve Neely, Marcus Woodrow, Clinton Charisma, Little Farmer John. If you'd like an opportunity to get these cards, contact me now. You can get them for only $49.99. Contact me at stevebowtiebryant at iCloud.com. Get your set now while supplies last.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
For those who don't know, now you know, baby. This is Hot Rod Biggs, Jared, Jimmy Street. We're going to take them to the limit one more time, baby, right here on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast, and I'm here, as always, with my brother from the same father and mother, the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street. What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. I'm doing great. Good to be here with you.
Yeah, doing good too, man. Just, got Devious G on the show today, Gordon Dunaway. This ought to be fun. He's a longtime manager, sponsor, promoter. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. He's done stuff in the Nashville area, so it'll be fun to talk to him, man.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a good time. Don't know much about Gordon, but I'm willing to learn, so
yeah,
it should be a good time.
Yeah, we'll have some fun. Of course, obviously we just had Sonny Street, our wrestling uncle, on the show. That was a lot of fun. Definitely glad to hear his story. I think everybody enjoyed that. At least, everybody seemed to when they, sent out their, hey, man, great show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hope they just don't type that without giving a listen, right?
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, but Sonny seemed to enjoy it, and I think a lot of people that he knew really enjoyed it. So I'm happy to hear that. And very, very excited to get the uncle on. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I know on Saturday they've got the big Hot Rod Biggs benefit there in Murfreesboro. Kroll's running that. So if y'all ain't got nothing to do, I know if you're local, you're probably already going to it. But if you're nearby, definitely make sure to get out to Murfreesboro to watch and enjoy and be there for our buddy Hot Rod and a benefit for him, So
yeah, man, it's a lost one too soon. So it's get out there and support his family and all that. It's a great cause. So.
Yeah. And, if you get there and you actually do show up, you'll get to see Ben Jordan, who we consistently and constantly are having in our prayers right now. He's dealing with stage 4 cancer, and hopefully he can kick out of this and be no issues from it. I know they're starting the chemo and radiation process now. So, guys, as if you aren't already, go ahead and keep Ben in your prayers. Wolfie and I just had him on the Wolfie podcast, and we had a good conversation about everything, and that'll be dropping on Monday, so hope y'all enjoy that one as well. I know everybody loves Ben, so we talked to him about that and all kinds of fun stuff. So y'all check that out on Monday. But we're glad you're here today with Gordon Dunaway. Gordon, it's funny. Gordon was one of the first people I actually met in Nashville, in the Nashville area. In wrestling. So pretty cool. He was always good to me, and we didn't work together a lot, unfortunately, but, it was a lot of fun to be able to hang out with Gordon as much as possible. So, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about before we get him on?
No, man, I'd say let's get to it.
All right, let's get it on then. We'll be right back with Gordon Dunaway on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Hey guys, this is Wolfie D from PG-13. Check out my podcast, Live and in Color with Wolfie D, every Monday at noon. We're talking Memphis, we're talking ECW, WCW, WWF, everywhere that I've been. We even have some great guests, some Hall of Famers on the show with us. Every Monday, Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Hey everybody, Gene Jackson here, inviting you to check out the Retro Wrestling Review, where each week I'm joined by some great co-hosts who help me review classic episodes of USWA Championship Wrestling, and right now we are doing week-by-week reviews of 1993. But we don't just do reviews, sometimes we get a chance to interview some of the people who were there and lived it, plus do watch-alongs. It's a lot of fun, so check out new episodes that drop every Wednesday at WrestleCopia.com. And to find links to everything associated to the podcast, you can go to uswapodcast.com.
That's right, it's the Talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes, and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
All right, we are back with more from the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast. And Jared, as always, we got another incredible guest. Man, the hits keep coming. The Right Way reunion giveth.
Hopefully it don't taketh away.
No, come on. No, man, but we got in touch with this gentleman. I've known this gentleman as long as I have been in the business, and we got in touch with him at the Right Way reunion, put a date, time, ink to paper, dotted the T's and crossed the I's. You know how it is. We've got the one and only Devious G, Gordon Dunaway. Gordon, thank you for being on our podcast.
Well, I appreciate it, and I hope I can tell you a few things that has happened with me in the past of wrestling, and things that I can tell you that you might want to hear.
I love it. That's what we like, right, Jared?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Gordon, you know, we always start every podcast off with the Sheik's favorite question. Take it away, Sheik.
All right, Gordon. So it's going to let people know a little bit about your influences and in the business and everything like that. If you had a Mount Rushmore, now yours might look a little different. You might have some managers in there or just personalities, whatever. But if you had a Mount Rushmore of wrestling, give me like 4 or 5 names. What would that be?
Well, first of all, it'd have to be Brickhouse Brown.
Yeah.
All
okay.
Right. Nice.
Brickhouse Brown was my mentor.
Yeah.
And then I would probably put Mick Foley, because I got to meet him when he was back in Texas.
Nice.
All right, nice.
Jeff Jarrett is up there with me. You know, got to know him pretty well. Gave me a big opportunity.
Yeah.
And I would say the late Burt Prentice.
Okay.
Everybody called him, you know, the convict and all kinds of stuff. But you know what? He let me do a lot of things with his organization, and I felt very good about it. But those would be the top 4 right now. And I know there's plenty more, but, you know, we'd be here at least a couple weeks or 2 just talking on the phone.
Yeah. You know, and a lot of times the name Burt Prentice brings up controversy or whatever. But, you know, to me, I always keep in mind that Burt paid me the best out of anybody, and he let me have the best opportunities. Now, I had great opportunities in Saul, Tony Falk's USWO, and Porter's NWA, whatever. But, man, I got to manage Dutch Mantell versus Jerry the King Lawler, Gordon. That's a pretty good match, right?
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now, that's 2 good guys there, definitely.
Yeah, so, I mean, I got some good opportunities with Burt, and like I said, he always paid me the best, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about you today, Devious One. So, Gordon, thank you for that Mount Rushmore. That was awesome. Now, we're going to take it all the way back to a young Gordon here. So, tell us a little bit about your younger days. Like, where were you born? Where did you go to high school? That kind of stuff.
Well, I was born and raised in a town, West Texas, El Paso, Texas, the home of the Guerreros.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And the biggest thing is my uncle
was kind of the first one to introduce me to wrestling because he loved wrestling. He went to the El Paso Coliseum all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, as a young kid, if I could go with him one night. He said, sure. He said, you'd probably like it. And I was, kind of hearing about the Guerrero family and stuff, and got to go see Gory Guerrero.
Oh, man.
Way back when, as a kid. And, I met some of the other family, when got the opportunity to just be around it. I just said, you know what? I wish one day I could be part of this. And that's, how it came to be. So.
Okay. And so do you remember how old you were when you started liking it?
Oh, God, I would say probably right before going into middle school, probably 13, 14 years old,
Yeah.
Doing it back that time, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good age. That's a good age to get into it. Tell me this, man. I mean, so you saw the Guerreros. Who else did you get to see when you were a kid?
Oh, God. To tell you the truth, it's very hard to remember that at this point because I don't think I remember, like I said, what stuck in my mind were the Guerreros,
Yeah.
And when I got the opportunity to get, further up in the business and meet them, like Chavo and Hector and even Eddie, you know what I'm saying? It just made a big difference.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
And that was in El Paso where I got to see them. So the Medics used to be there. I remember them. God, I'm just not a young whippersnapper anymore.
It's okay, man.
And when you start growing that way, you start kind of forgetting a few things. But I'll tell you what, it's just something that I wish that I could be in. And like I said before, I knew it. I was, on that track. So
yeah. Well, that leads into the Sheik's next question. Take it away, brother.
So tell us about your, your start in wrestling and like meeting Brickhouse and all that stuff. Tell us about that how that happened.
Well, I was working for a pizza place in El Paso. It was a franchise, but it came under the name of Mr. Gaddy's. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So when I continued working in El Paso, they sold out, but the guy that took over was going into the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Nice. Okay.
And so I was very fortunate to get to the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay.
And when I got to manage 2 stores in Pantego, Texas. That's what it's called. Okay, it was in between Dallas and Fort Worth. And next thing I knew, I was getting things together at the pizza places, and then somebody told me about wrestling, and I said, "Wow, where is this place at? Where they have it?" Well, before I knew it, I was inside the Sportatorium, and that's where I met Brick. Okay, and Brick, I talked to him for a little bit, and I said, "Hey, I should like to get into something like this." He said, he was 100% sure, man. We got to be good friends, and he needed rights to the venue. I was taking him to the Sportatorium every Friday.
That's awesome.
And then I started meeting the other guys. That's where I met Lawler, and that's where I met the Von Erichs, Mick Foley, and I told him, "Hey, Brick, if they ever get hungry and they want to get something to eat, come on down. I'll be glad to give them pizza, buffet, all that stuff." And before I know it, I had the guys coming up, and Brick was taking me to a sport. I was taking Brick to a Sportatorium, but he was getting me, slowly meeting these people, meeting the guys and stuff like that. And I just kind of, at that time, I just kind of sat back and I said, "Wow, something I wished for came true." So.
Yeah, dude. That's amazing. So this is when USWA is there, basically, when they had come together, merged with the World Class?
Well, yeah, pretty much. That was when Lawler would come down here and be the heel, and of course Terry Von Erich was so big here.
He could never be a heel.
No, never. You're right. And then that's how I started meeting the guys from Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah.
And came upon Brick was moving back to where he lived out here in Mississippi. That's where he, and he said if I ever come out towards that way and go to Nashville, that I was, come by and look me up, because I was that he was wrestling in the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Okay.
So
nice.
before we know it, and you can stop me anytime you want to, but I'd like to get this part of the story where it just got me right into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me pause you real quick.
Sure.
Now in Bristol, Tennessee, we're literally 30 minutes away from Bristol, Tennessee, from the Tennessee line. And there was a Mr. Gaddy's there. And I remember as kids, it was kind of like, the land of milk and honey. Jared and I would hear kids in school talk about, no, you got Pizza Hut in our town. You don't need that. So every once in a while, we would get to go to Mr. Gaddy's to eat. And it was awesome. The arcade in there and everything, man. It was so cool. Is that also, did that help you move to Tennessee? Did you move to another Mr. Gaddy's, or? Yes.
What happened was the guy that was running the stores, like the CEO or whatever, was originally from Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
And my stores were doing real good, even though I was giving pizza away, but you know what? It was worth giving it, because it got me into the doors I wanted to get into, and the two stores I was running in the Pantego, Dallas area, they were doing real good, and the CEO was moving back to Louisville. Well, he invited myself and my wife to come to dinner, and we were sitting there and talking, and he pulled out a map, and I said, Ron, how come you pulling out a map for? What's this for, sir? He says, well, we've got a deal for you. We can move you right here, and he pointed with his finger, which was in Nashville.
Okay. Yeah.
And I said, okay. He said, well, we'll move you. We'll take care of you. Get going. This is before they started all closing down, of course. And I ran 2 stores here in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
Which got me close. And I had a friend that moved to Dixon that was working in the same area, and he got a couple of stores too. Okay. And what was cool is I got to stay with this guy in Dixon, and I asked him, I said, do you know where the Nashville Fairgrounds is? He says, yeah, I can tell you how to get there. He says, well, what do you want to go to Nashville Fairgrounds for? I said, there's wrestling out there, and there's somebody I want to see. So Brick was on the card, at the fairgrounds, So I got my tail, drove into Nashville, went to the fairgrounds, and walked in, and I said to myself, well, I hope I can talk to him. Well, I got somebody to eventually get a hold of Brick for me, and how it happened, he said that somebody said that he had a friend out there. Well, Brick didn't know it was me. So when Brick came out, he looked at me, and I looked at him, he says, what the hell are you doing here? I said, well, you told me if I was ever in Nashville to come see you. So I looked you up, and I saw you on the card, so I came out here. And he goes, so how long are you going to stay in Nashville? And I said, well, I don't know, Brick. He says, you don't know how long I'm going to stay in Nashville? How come you don't know that? I said, well, I got a lot of things in mind. He says, Brick was very open, Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he goes, you MFer, how long are you staying in Nashville? I said, I'm here, Brick. He told me if I ever came that to look you up, and here I am. He says, you mean you're moving to Nashville? I said, yeah, my stuff is being packed up, and I'll be running 2 Mr. Gettys out here in Nashville. He says, wow, I can't believe it. And then the following Friday, he introduced me to Bert, and that's how I got involved with Bert's independent, what do you call it, all the shows and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Now, was that North American All-Star, or was that Music City? Which one was that?
It was Music City.
Okay, gotcha. Now, this is just wild, man. But how did I mean, I'm sure that look on his face when he saw you probably blew his mind. He was like,
I wish I would have had a camera to take a picture of him. Like you said, he just couldn't believe it, because I kept on teasing him. I wouldn't tell him how long I was going to stay. I didn't want him to know, until the last minute when Rick was the type of person. If he wanted to know something, he'd get it out of you.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I knew it, so I kept on teasing him. He finally says, how long you going to stay? And I told him, and that's, it was a start for me. And then he started, he introduced me to Bert that following week. And, he's, like I said, and I can tell you to this day, sir, that when he got me into the business, before I got managing, I was the security guard, making sure that we took the jackets and stuff back, and making sure, the guys are taken care of, stuff like that. But I did not walk into a dressing room for at least 8 months before I walked into a dressing room. When I got somebody's coat or jacket or whatever, that they wore to the ring, I would knock on the door and give it to whoever got it there at the door.
Okay.
Because I knew at the time, if I wanted to stay in this business, you got to show respect, and you show them respect, then they know that, hey, you're for real.
Yeah, you're serious. And okay, so you're working for Bert, and you're running the jackets back. What was your first official, out in front that you felt got you into the locker room? What was your first official job for Bert after that job? With Bert, it was quite a few years after. I can't even remember at the time when TNA started, and Jeff, took me under his arm, and I started working for him, security and stuff like that. But Bert had Brick teach me some stuff, especially when I was playing security guard, Mm-hmm. And then after I did that, he says, you know what, I'm going to have Brickhouse teach you how to manage a heel, and I said, what's a heel? I didn't get the understanding at first. Yeah. And it came upon where, they say you sit and listen and watch and you'll learn, Right. And that's exactly what I did with Brick, and my wrestling career, I guess, to me, I felt like it was career for it, because it was something I wanted to do, and I have had that opportunity to do it and still continue. Yeah, no doubt. That's awesome. Now, working for Bert, what was the first match that you were able to manage? Do you remember specifics? I want to say, God, I really can't remember. I know he had me on undercards, I never did main events or anything for quite a while. Okay. I wanted to be sure that I was trained right, and that I learned in, I didn't want to go in there cold, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to go in there where if I became a heel, that I would have people chasing me and doing what a heel's supposed to do, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I was taught that, and that's what I'm saying. I didn't teach myself. I was taught because I listened. Yeah. Amen. Kids, write that down.
Exactly.
So we did our research on you, Gordon. We've got to, right? We're having you as a guest. One of the things was there a certain thing that on their TV you were maybe tied up in your underwear saying weird words or something? When did that happen?
Well, it was when they were filming, okay? Mm-hmm. At the studio. I can't even remember what studio it was at the time.
Okay.
But I know I was tied up, and James Storm had his stick horse with him.
Oh, yeah.
I was part of that stick horse, okay? If you know what I mean.
Sure, I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay. And then he had, and then I remember he had myself and of course, Sarah and two others that we did a vignette about like the Wizard of Oz. That Bert had woke up and he saw all of us around him, and he says, and I even saw you, Mr. G. You were in it. But, it's just all these little things that has made me a better person in the business.
Okay.
And the respect that I've gotten out of the business, and the guys that I learned to understand, hey, this guy does want to do this and help out and be part of this, like, I tell people, even now, the young kids, how many can really put a ring up? How many people can really take it down? How many can, it's you earn what you get. It's not given to you.
Amen. Yeah, that's the truth, man. That is the truth.
So on the timeline of your career here, where'd you end up next after working for Bert?
Well, I was at one time called the Pie Guy, okay?
Yeah.
And I had many guys, I was always out to help somebody. I'm a type of person that if I could help an organization, I would do it, okay? So I busted my tail and went out and got sponsors for a lot. I worked for Tony Falk with USWO. I worked for TJ at SAW. I worked for Mike Porter at NWA. Of course, with Bert, Music City and USA,
Reno, too, I think.
Reno, right? Yeah, Reno, I sure did. Main event. So, I was, and I think I didn't do it to, I love the way they put that label on me, the Pie Guy, because I thought it was really good, because
it makes sense.
That I got to meet a lot of people during the times I did this, okay?
Yeah.
And I wanted them to understand, hey, I love wrestling, and I still love it, and it'll always be in your blood. And that is the truth, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So my big goal was to help different organizations, and it came out okay, you sometimes say, should I have ever done this all the time? Would I be somewhere else at this time? I can't say yes or no. Mm-hmm. What I can say is that I've enjoyed it, and I think I've done it the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So where are you at now? Like, so after you've kind of been working with Bert and you've gone on to other, you've even gotten this label of, and really what you've done, and I've always admired this about you, is you've made yourself very important to whichever company you're working for. And I've told this to other guys, and I don't know if I got to tell you at the reunion, but I want you to know that I've always admired that you've really found ways to make yourself important to those promotions. And whether it's your work ethic or whether it's your sponsorship abilities. Because, dude, I don't know any promotion that if a guy is saying, hey, man, I can help you get sponsors, I don't know any promoter that's going to say no, Right. So that is definitely something that guys that are in the next generation can write down and say, hey, look, I need to bring something with me to make myself even more important. And I've always admired that about you, Gordon. I just, Well,
what I look at is, you want to help I'm a type of person that even at my job right now, you know, I've been with Advanced Financial for almost 20 years. And after the second year I was there, that's how long I've had Advanced Financial sponsor anybody that, you know, I've asked them to sponsor. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's to me, my gold coin in my pocket, you know, because I know that my boss has backed me up 150% on, you know, I can go in there like I told somebody the other day, I said, you know, it's real kind of funny. I can go in there and see the owner of it, and he'll look at me and I'll go, hey, Mike, I've got a show going on, and can you help out? He says, you know I will. You just go tell them you just go tell the accounting to get to write you out a check, okay?
Yeah.
And it's been that easy, and they've even given me a budget every year now for the last 5 years, where, you know, if I go up there and say, hey, how much do I have in this budget, you know, for these first 6 months or a year, whatever, they'll tell me, and then I just take, you know, have them write the check. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's a great, you know.
And then I just picked up another sponsor for the benefit show, you know, that we used to have. I went to go talk to him. I took Tim to talk to him. Angelo's Pizza used to, sponsor, and they closed down over here in Antioch, but they opened up in Smyrna, and the guy wrote Tim a check the other day.
That's awesome, man. See, there you go. There you go. So kids, again, lessons to be learned from this gentleman that maybe, you know, hey, did he jump in the ring? Like, you know, we've wrestled before, but should we have? No, Gordon, we probably shouldn't have. But, you know, we've been in manager matches before and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, there's lessons to be learned. If let's just say you're like the two of us here, your manager material or your ring announcer material. Make yourself important in whatever way you can. And I think that Gordon is the guy to go to for advice with that. So, you know, but, you know, we've got much more to talk about here, and we'll get on to that. Jared, take the next question.
So, Gordon, I've heard there's a story that you might could tell us about going to pick up Jackie Fargo. Tell us about that.
There was a show in Laverne, okay, and I have been and fortunate picking up a lot of guys from the airport and stuff like that. Well, you know, I was told, do you mind going picking up Jackie Fargo? I said, I don't mind, you know. Yeah. And let me go back before we go to that part of it. I have been, that I can remember, the only one that's ever got to shave Jackie Fargo's hair in the middle of the ring.
Oh, man.
Wow.
And the only person to take off my T-shirt and cover the cat because she lost a match. Okay, so she had to, you know, at the fairgrounds. Okay, but those are two things that definitely stick to my mind. But with Jackie, I went to pick him up at the airport. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I got him to the venue. You know, of course, everybody was waiting for him outside, you know, and I had to get him in there, you know, stuff like that. And I stopped so he could talk to the people that he wanted to stop and talk to, you know. And I got him in there, and next thing you know, he, I guess this is the story that you wanted where, you know, he paid me $100 to go pick him up from the airport. Okay,
gotcha.
and I didn't want, you know, I didn't want his money. You know, it was something that I wanted to do. Okay. I respected Jackie Fargo, and he said, "No, you take the money." And I, you know, he wouldn't take it back. Put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we were told a story that maybe you were to pick him up and he didn't have all of his clothing on, maybe, or.
Oh, yeah. That one I do remember. I walked in and he wasn't dressed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I had to wait for him. Okay. But he thought he was going to be funny. Okay. Cause he knew who I was. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so when I walked in, you know, I knocked on the door. When I walked in, he was, playing the naked man from wherever, okay? You know, I even forgot that, but I'm glad you reminded me because, I should have remembered that definitely, so.
I mean, the other one was good, but that one was,
Yeah. Well,
when there's nudity involved, you're always going to get bigger ratings, So that's
exactly, and that's right. I guess the cat was the one that hit me first because I had to cover her boobs, That's just she loved.
I don't blame you for remembering that one first, for sure. So, yeah, that's great. I mean, okay, so let's just say this. What were some things? I mean, so it seems like you got to drive him around a lot, it sounds like. Is that true?
Yeah, I drove him quite a bit. Mick Foley gave me the nickname, the pizza guy.
Okay. Yeah.
And every time I talked to him, and the reason I respect Nick a lot too is because he remembered my son. Okay,
that's awesome.
Every time he came into town, I'd ask, hey, can I go and pick up Mick? He says, sure. So, or if he ever did a signing or anything, he remembered me, but he wouldn't call me. He used to call me Gordie, Gordie.
Yeah.
But he says, do you mind if I call you the pie guy? I said, no, I don't mind. You can call me, because, they came and ate buffet and everything and stuff like that. It's something that I gave back, to them because they were, and my boss knew when I worked at Mr. Gary's and stuff like that in Texas, it was just something that helped promote the business too, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely. You've got wrestlers there regularly. People are going to come by and see that, so
right.
That's very cool. Now, I think, what was it that the Von Erichs, they were sponsored by Pizza Inn, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Right. I don't know when that was and if it's in the same timeline as you, but I just remember seeing some commercials online about them being at Pizza Inn or something. So
exactly.
But they're not as good as Mr. Gaddy's, so.
Yeah, it was, I was very fortunate, at that time. I was in the pizza business at that time and it just worked out, it came into place, was another piece of the puzzle to get into wrestling.
Yeah.
And it happened, so.
Well, so we have a listener question from a good friend of both of ours, Quentin Charisma. He's forgotten more than any of us know about the Middle Tennessee wrestling scene. So he asked this question. He said, so this is, I guess, when you were working for Reno. Okay.
Okay.
And he asked this. He says, at the end of 1999, he was working for Reno, and then he showed up at Bert's TV taping in January 2000 as a manager. Okay. So here's the question. He says, ask him if Bert reached out to him or did he contact Bert? Did he get heat with Reno from that? Because Gordon, PG-13, Freddie all left Reno right after Christmas, and Bert started using Freddie's ring at the time also. And so he says, what was really crazy about that TV taping was Gordon, PG-13, Shane Morton, Boogie, Quentin all debut that same night for Bert. So anyway, you got the gist of the question. I'm going to shut up now.
Truthfully, and, black is black, white is white, pink is pink and whatever.
Sure.
I went and talked to Bert. Okay. And from that, I don't know what came out completely, what if they talked after I talked to Bert and stuff like that. But Bert also knew and rest his soul and stuff like that, like you said, there's always controversy when Bert was around, but you know what? There was a lot of things he did for me that people don't understand. And it's like, one night he called me, he said, hey, I'm up here at Waffle House. I need $10. Can you bring it in? Can you bring it to me? And I knew he was having some trouble or whatever.
Yeah.
And I got up and I took him the $10. And I mean, anything I helped him with, and I would say the majority of the people that I helped out have been very good and very cordial to me.
Sure.
I'll try to help anybody in the business. But we got to do it the correct way before I can say a positive yes or a no. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
And a lot of these some of the promoters that are out there, you know, don't understand that. You know, like I, you know, whenever I get money from Advance Financial, you know, I have to have their credentials so they know where their money's going to. You know what I'm saying?
Right, of course.
Like, you know, like their W-9 or their Social Security, you know, things like that, you know.
Yeah.
But it's listed, so when I go and ask for the money, they just say, have we done it for this organization? I say, yes. They look it up. There it is. And, you know, they popped it. Now, they had a check the following day or that Friday on payday, you know. So the checks weren't hard to get, you know, with just about anybody that I worked with.
Yeah.
So.
I even remember there being an awesome Advance Financial commercial with Plunky in it, right?
Yep. I got Plunky and to do the one in Portland with Jason's organization at the time.
Yeah, it was crazy because I was sitting there watching Monday Night Raw one night, and I'd already moved to Virginia from Tennessee, and I was like, man, there's my buddy on TV right there. I know. That's awesome. And I knew you would have had to have had something to do with it, you know.
Well, like I said, you know, I guess I'm a type of person, if there's something I like, I always get involved, you know, as much as I can. And a lot of guys jump, you know, they use the words jump from one organization to another. I looked at it that the guys were looking for work, okay? Yeah. Right. Or, you know, if they didn't have a booking, you know, they were doing that, you know. Well, I was trying to work with all organizations in case, you know, that if there was one that I knew I had like a steady job, you know, like I can say Bert gave me a lot of work, Tony and gave me a whole bunch of work, you know, stuff like that, you know, and I tried to take, like I said, take care of anybody that I can, and I'll do it till the day I'm 6 feet under, you know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt.
Saturday, July 20th, 6:30 p.m. in Murfreesboro, USWO Wrestling is back with our next big event, and oh boy is it going to be a banger. This night will be a special benefit for the family of Hot Rod Biggs.
That's right, Lloyd. It's gonna be a banger as your main event is a battle of TNA former OGs. That's right, TNA Originals, James Storm, the Cowboy, taking on David Young in an 8-man tag Legends match. It's Steve Morton, Shane Morton, Ben Jordan, and Steve Neely, the Wild Boys, with Jerry Lynn Morton in their corner, taking on the Great Mephisto and Dante, with Forsaken and Corey Cruz, and Cannibal Lecter will be in their corner. In a #1 contenders match for the USWO Championship, LT Falk, the son of a legend, Mr. 110%, takes on newcomer Chris Crow. For the USWO Television Championship, Brandon Wolf with Cool Cat Taylor takes on Tavon Jordan. Who is the real Saul champion as current Saul champion Sean Hurley takes on self-proclaimed champion Majestic. In a 3-way dance, we have Drew Weatherby taking on LBK and Kevin Weatherby. It's the Juggernaut John Irons is taking on Cousin Condrey one more time. For the USWO Tag Team Champions, your new champions, Cody Carter and Damian Wayne, defend against Jeremiah Plunkett and a partner of his choosing. Tickets available online at uswotix.com.
Also appearing as part of the live meet and greet at 5 p.m. will be local legends Booty Call with the Goddess Athena, Yukon Jack, Tony Falk Hammerjack, with over 40 top stars from the past and present set to appear live at the Armory in Murfreesboro. Tickets on sale now at uswotix.com. Front row only $20, general admission only $15, under 5 free with paid adult.
Okay, so I want to get to the managing part again, and you know, I was a manager, you know, and so obviously that's my favorite conversation to have anyway. But
right,
give me like a few 3-4 guys that who were your favorite people to manage? Who were your favorite wrestlers to manage?
Well, when I went to get to work with CWA with Shane Morton, I'd say Shane Morton was one of the ones I really enjoyed managing. He gave me opportunities also that just was amazing. You know, he says, I want you to manage me. You know, the outcome is we're going to win the belt, you know, and stuff like that. And, you know, it made me feel good because, hey, you know, hey, I'm going to have gold, you know, that I helped my, you know, wrestler help win, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. God, I've managed so many people. It's just unbelievable. It's hard to say. God, you know, I got to manage a lot of guys that Tony brought, you know, in at USWO. I've had good ones, but I've never had a bad one.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel that what I did, I was taught by Brickhouse. Okay. So I felt that somebody that good that taught me how to do that I was doing my job so I could do, you know, that I was a heel, you know. When I came out there, you know, people hated me, which, okay, that's your job. That's my job. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
It's like I said, there's so many, you know, and I was very fortunate with the promoters put me with people they put me with. You know?
Yeah.
Now, I enjoyed being a babyface once in a while, but it was hard. It was a lot. It was very hard to change that, you know. The only time I would want to be a baby face is when they had asked me to, like, screw my heel wrestler and help the baby face get, you know, their belt back or help them win and stuff like that. So it's either turn, and then I ran that for a while, but I'll take being a heel before, you know, being a baby face.
Amen.
It's so much easier. You know?
Yeah, and I have no idea how to be a babyface manager, man. I really don't. And I know you probably just have to dumb down everything and just be all cheery and happy. But man, I that would be tough for me.
Right. And you know, it's like I said, it's very hard to pinpoint, you know, everybody that I manage who is the best. To me, they were the best when I was a heel because I was managing them, because I was taught correct how to do it. Okay. Yeah. So they knew, hey, I'm going to be okay out there because I've got a manager that you don't want to take nothing away from the guy you're managing, because they're the ones that shine. You're the one that gets them to that point so they can shine.
Exactly. Yeah. No, hey, man, I love that. That's the psychology. And, you know, Shane is one of my favorite guys I managed too. I learned so much from him in the very short time we got to, you know, I was his manager for just a little bit, but I learned more from him than I did from anybody. So, you know, Shane is definitely one high on my list too. Go ahead, Sheik.
All right. So, you know, you talked about some of your favorite people to manage. Like, who are some of your favorite promoters to work for?
Well, I believe the same thing like I would say about the guys that I manage. You work for the promoter that work with you so you can be taught well. Yeah. You may not like the outcome at times, but you know what? They're always there to help you out, no matter who it was. I don't care who I helped sponsored or anything else. I can tell you to this day, every promoter I've worked for had, you know, showed me respect no matter what the situation was. Okay.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. I see. But, yeah. So you like getting heat as a manager, but you don't like getting heat as a person. I get it. I'm just picking on you.
Exactly. You know,
I respect that.
You know, you learn how to swallow that heat. You know
exactly.
you put enough ice in your mouth, it'll cool it down.
Yeah, I love it. I'm learning stuff, kids. So y'all gotta be. So yeah. Now this is where I want to bring in me here. So I remember I'd started in Virginia. I'd managed a couple shows. My mentor, the guy who brought me in the business, Ken Steele, he got me on some shows in Virginia. And then I ended up moving to Nashville with my band. And I didn't do much out there at all. And then I met Aaron Camaro randomly when I was working at the Great Escape. And, Aaron, you just see Aaron, you're like, oh my God, that he's up to something. He's either a rock and roller, he's a DJ, he's something. He's doing something. And so I just started talking to him because he lives his gimmick and I love it. And he was talking about doing this thing in wrestling, and he was trying to get the book at this place in Laverne called HWA.
Right, that's where. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so. And he's like, Jimmy, I got this idea. He was like, do you have a suit? And I'm like, yes, I do. He's like, I need you to wear the suit. I'm going to bring Andrew Becker with me to shoot the camera. We're going to use one of the guys there. We're going to put him in some kind of cross-dressing gimmick. Anyway, long story short, we get there. He's like, Jimmy, I need you to be the representative for CWTV. But here's the thing, no matter what, do not let anybody know that is not your job. Now, when it gets to specifics, I'm going to leave that up to you, but whatever. So I get there and I work the whole locker room, Gordon. And I don't even know if we let you, I'm probably sure Aaron let you in on the gimmick, but anyway, I'd only done this twice. I'd never been able to speak in front of anybody. I'd only been working ringside, doing basic, pull the leg stuff, nothing major. And I get in the ring and I remember, you can tell that I'm crapping bricks in there. I don't know what it was. Maybe just you had a sixth sense. Maybe you recognized the look in my eyes from when you had that look in your eyes. But you just said, I was about to have to say something. I was talking as this TV representative, and I was standing kind of wrong. You straightened me up. And you said, now breathe. And I'll never forget that for as long as I live. Wow. That's all you said to me. And then I said my spiel and I thanked you. And I think you were ring announcing there, if I'm not mistaken. But do you remember any of that happening?
Not really, but I kind of remember saying something like that to somebody. But I just, like I said, as many shows, and you probably did as many as I have too, and everything else. And you go through the motions.
Yeah.
And this is where I would set up my night of wrestling, basically. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Depending who I was managing. Okay. I'd look and see what kind of day I had at work.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if I had a bad day, I tell you what, I'm going to make my wrestler shine like a diamond, because I'm going to be pissed off and I'm going to lay into those people. You don't say nothing bad about the wrestler. I'm wrestling. I'm going to take the heat. You know what I'm saying? And then let the wrestler do their thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just get it started and let the wrestler do his thing, because they're there to see him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm there, but I'm his sidekick, I would say, in a way.
Yeah. Well, the most entertaining thing about that night came in two parts. Well, one, the advice. I definitely appreciated that. It wasn't really like a lengthy advice. It was just breathe, man. Don't forget to breathe. And so, and then we do our little spiel in the ring and we get to the back. And I guess word is out that Aaron is vying for the booking spot. And there is an unnamed lady working there as the booker. I think she was a wife and manager to one of the other wrestlers. And I'm not going to say names, but it was much more eventful than what we did in the ring. And she goes off on Aaron, and I think she spills everything in her pocketbook. That goes everywhere. She's just falling to pieces all over the fact of Aaron just being there and being somewhat of maybe a threat to her booking. Now, long story short, that did not go anywhere. I don't know if Aaron went back and did anything for them after that, but he didn't get that job. So then he ends up in NWA Main Event, and that's when I start doing my gimmick with the Sheik and stuff. But the sad thing about that is, Gordon, is honestly, brother, we never really got to work together that much. You would you'd be a ring announcer sometimes and I would work on a show with you, or maybe you managed on a benefit and I would manage on a benefit. But because we were two heel managers, it wasn't like we were competing, but you usually didn't carry more than one heel manager, right? I mean,
right.
Yeah. And most promotions didn't carry that many managers. So really after that, we kind of split up and we would see each other randomly. And you always were very kind to me and nice and gave me advice and told me stories. But other than that, we really didn't. So I actually had this idea and I was trying to get it. And I wish that I would have talked to you about it because I feel like we could have done something with it. I was doing the Omar Al-Kazan gimmick and Dutch Mantell saw me, and I've told this story so much people are sick of it, but he looked at me and he noticed how pale I am compared to the Saudi Arabian prince I'm playing. And he said, that doesn't work. And then Kroll didn't want to put it on TV, and I understood that. We've talked about that. Long story short, I ended up changing to Jimmy Street. But the idea that I had was that I wish that I could have ran another person out there as Omar in the Sheik role, and then I could have come out as Jimmy Street, and it would have been like, what are you guys talking about? And he didn't have to look like me. He just had to be another person. And I remember I was managing a couple guys at that time, and I was like, I would love to give Gordon that gimmick and put the Sheik gimmick on Gordon and have him walk out there acting like he's been Omar the whole time. And it never worked out. We were never together to get it to happen, but I wish that I would have brought that to you. And that's one thing I kicked myself about.
I think that would have been great. And that was the biggest thing. I learned a lot too from Athena. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, the best.
I can praise her many, many times. Okay, I mean, because we worked across from each other, and that's what helped me be a baby face when I was a baby face. Okay, because she was always the heel. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
wow. That helped me, and she helped me get into that baby face persona. Okay, and after the matches and stuff like that, of course, we went back to she praised me and I praised her. We worked like vanilla ice cream with that chocolate syrup on it.
Okay.
It worked.
Perfect blend. And, yeah.
So, and then it was even better because I ended up becoming a heel manager. Okay. Yeah. But she was one of the ones that molded me into that kind of a person, and it helped me out tremendously. Okay. But she knew when I needed to be a baby face. I asked her many times, I said, work across from me so I can do it correct,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. But to know that because here's the thing. Every time I would hear the rattlings or I would look on the Trent Van Dries message board and I would hear two names. Jimmy's pretty good, but he ain't no Athena. Right. Or Jimmy's pretty good, but he ain't no Gordon. And I always took that as a badge of honor because here's the deal. As long as I respect, because I didn't know Athena and I never worked together on the same card. I think she had already gotten out by the time I was in the Middle Tennessee scene, so it didn't work out. But I always looked at you with high regard and very much respect, and I always respected her because I knew what she had done before me.
Well, I appreciate that very much because like I said, I'm the same way. I want to be as good as somebody else with the right. Teaching the right people. Yeah. Charming Charles taught me a lot.
Oh, yeah, another one. Yeah.
It's just, I wanted to learn it. Just like I said, I didn't go into the locker room for about 6 or 8 months, and that's out of respect. You just don't walk into a locker room and, they're going to say, who the hell are you? And I wouldn't have blamed them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I'm sure that's probably still upheld. But guys, if you're getting in the business right now in a ring announcer, managerial, any kind of early ring crew role, do not just go straight to the back, man. That will get you much further. This is a lesson that Gordon can teach all day, and I will listen to every bit of it because that's the truth. Listen to what this man is saying. Show respect, and you will get that respect you want, Real quick, and I know that I did right, because when I was privileged to go on the trips with the guys to WCW, and you walked in the locker room and they know who you are and they know your name, after all these guys that go everywhere, 2 or 3 times a night, and stuff like that, and they know who you are, I must have done something right. Yeah. So. Yeah. That's, I mean, dude, that's it right there. That is it. So, as we kind of get to the end of the podcast, and we're not there yet, but as we're rolling along, we do bring up some quick questions. And these are quick questions that are just simple questions that really kind of dig deeper into your brain. And we want to hear some of your answers. So would you like to play the quick question game with us, Gordon? Oh, definitely. I appreciate you taking the time tonight to do this. Oh, brother. Okay. You were on my list, so we're good. But we'll be right back. DJ, hit the music.
Hell yeah, that's the pro wrestler. Hell yeah, that's the pro wrestler. Hell yeah, that's the pro wrestler. Hell yeah, that's go.
All right, we are back with Gordon Dunaway and the quick question game, and I'm giving the first one to my brother from the same father and mother. Take it, Sheik.
So if you could give your younger self any advice about the business or anything, I guess, what would it be?
My younger self?
Yeah.
What kind of advice?
Any life, wrestling, whatever. Just what would you advise?
I'd say overall advice, wrestling or anything you do, sit, watch, listen, and then attempt.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. Don't do it and then mess it up and then have to do it again and then redo it and then, so yeah, I like that. Okay, well, the next question is, what are some things that maybe, what's something that's on your bucket list that might surprise people?
Well, with what has happened to me in the last 3 years is thanking the man upstairs that I'm alive.
Well, yeah.
We lose too many guys, friends, foes, just life in general. You wake up the next morning, thank God you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say hello to you guys again and again and again. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we want that too, man. Yeah. We just lost Hot Rod, and Ben Jordan has been offered some horribly grim news. And, it just seems like every time I turn around, I'm hearing something about, and, I know Mike Woods lost his daughter. Jamie Dundee lost his son. I mean, it's just, you're not promised tomorrow.
And like I tell my story to people, not for sympathy, just to let people understand that you got to be real. I had brain surgery. I had blood on my brain, and they didn't know if I was going to make it. Okay.
Yeah.
But the doctor, and many people that I talk to personally go, "You got 9 lives. You ain't ready to go yet. You son of a bitch." So, but we're all, to me, the wrestling business. We all can be brothers and sisters if we want to, okay? Yeah. And I think it's about time that people realize that, hey, we're here.
Right. Yeah. No, that's awesome answer. I love that. Okay, well then this one is the final question of the quick question game. And this one's my personal favorite, and we will go with that. So if you were to have a pause button or a rewind button on your life, which would you choose?
The rewind button, if I could have that, is beginning again and not change one thing at all. because you know what? I have done almost everything I wanted to do. Not getting any younger, and I thank everyone that I've met and, treat me well. And even if you treat me bad, I'll still be there.
Hey, there you go. There you go. That's a positive attitude. Yeah, and it's a great answer, too. I mean, I'd been pulling for the pause guys here recently, but you made a good case for the rewind. You just you had such fun. You'd like to live it all again to have that same fun.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you did
because,
it the right.
You'll never know who you might meet or gain more knowledge if you pause it.
Yeah.
Rewind it, and if you have to, take that extra step to get, something else that you hope that you hadn't gotten, and you get it, at least you had that rewind button to go ahead and get it. Go for it.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay, well, that was all for the quick questions, but the next one is going to be a little depressing, but let's just say this. July 29th, 2018. Do you know that date?
No.
That was the day that your buddy Brickhouse Brown passed away. And
oh, you're right. And the reason I don't realize, I learned one thing, and let me answer it this way.
Sure.
I try to remember, and sometimes I don't want to remember because I want to remember them the way I saw them before, this happened. Because it was, we're talking about Brickhouse Brown real quick. I went up to the Cauliflower Alley Club, and that's when they were honoring him. Okay. And he was there, and he looked at me, and I looked at him. Okay. And I know what state he was in. Didn't know he was going to pass as quick as he did. But when we first looked at each other there at the Cauliflower Alley Club, he was walking out with his, I think it was his sister. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
And he says, Gordon. I said, Brick, it's me, Gordon. And he just come up, hugged, and we both started crying together. Okay. And I don't care what people say, grown men cry. Okay.
Yeah. Right. And we do. Yeah.
And after that, it was a few minutes later he passed, and it blew my mind because he was the type of person too that would call me at 2:00 in the morning many times and say, "What are you doing?" I said, "What the hell you think I'm doing, Brick? I'm trying to sleep," And he would just laugh because he knew how I was going to answer it, and he'd call me on purpose,
Yeah. And had you been able to keep in touch with him through your time in the business?
Yes, pretty, as much as I could, definitely. It was just, he was one of the first ones I ever met in the business. And like I said, he's the one that took me under his wing and taught me a lot of things, And he was one of the best heels, and the ones who wanted me to listen and make sure I do it right. I thank every one of them. Like I said.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And sometimes we don't know, like we've talked about this whole show, we never know when our tomorrow is, and if we're going to have a tomorrow. So it's always important to stay as much in contact as you can with the people you love. And that, I knew that was going to be a bit of a touching question, and I didn't really want, you know what I mean? I didn't want to lead into it all sad there, but, what would you say the lasting imprint Brick left on you?
Well, when he hugged me and started crying and realized who I was, okay, I just thank God that he knew who I was. Okay. Yeah. I mean, his hugging, it was like a, I guess, glue sticking to me, you know what I'm saying? Because it took us, I can say truthfully, at least 5 to 10 minutes before we let go of each other completely, you know what I'm saying? And just he whispered things. He said, I love you, Gordon, and love you, Gordon. I said, Brick, you don't know how much I love you because you have helped me in many, many ways. So, but if we can't talk about it, then you know what? Then that means that we didn't care about who we, had any relation to or whatever. And this is what we're here. This is what we're here for. This is why I think Shane's doing what he's doing, and he's doing a fantastic job. I think this is why all of us now are realizing, we are a family, and we need to make sure that, no matter what it takes, to keep us together and say, you know what, there is going to be a tomorrow.
Yeah, hey man, that's awesome. As we always do, we're going to leave the final question to the Sheik here. Take it away.
All right, Gordon. So I'm going to narrow it down this time. It's not 4 or 5 choices. I'll give you 1 or 2 on this one. But if you had like a favorite match that you've been a part of throughout your career, what would that be?
Well, I thought they never, ever would ever get me in a dress. I cannot remember what. I know it was down at the in Gladeville when it happened, and I can't remember what the match was. The only thing I can remember about it that I was in the middle of the ring with a dress on.
Yeah,
and I thought that was the funniest thing in the world that they could do, but they got me in a dress.
Well, to kind of do a U-turn here, I want to ask you, tell us about that cat story, man, where you're hiding her.
Well, it was a match. If I think Jerry lost, I think he put somebody over that night, and if he did, the cat would have to strip down to her bra and panties. Okay?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And she, I guess. Cat was very risky. She was kind of a person that would, of course she would listen to Jerry. Okay.
Right.
And she ended up her top coming off. Okay. So I had my security shirt on. I had to pull it off, and I covered her and had to get her back into the dressing room. But, it was, I even couldn't believe it because, I think it was Bert that yelled, "Get her covered now." I said, "Bert, I don't have anything to cover with." He said, "Yeah, you do. Take your shirt off." So I'm pulling my shirt off. Okay. So
was that an accident that had happened, or was that a on purpose accident? You think?
I think it was an on purpose on accident.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because she was all for it. I mean,
Right.
I guess she knew she was going to get covered real quick, and which I did, So,
I can't imagine what you were thinking. My shirt? Did you have another shirt on, or you're just no shirt?
No, I'm there, and I had some weight on me at that time, and, that's all I need, They could have seen my man boobs,
What about mine, Bert?
Exactly right. Hey, I would have been in trouble then if I would have said that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're not going to say that. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Well, yeah, man, Gordon, I want to say this, man. I've always looked up to you in the business, especially as a heel manager and just somebody, like I said, who's always made themselves important to a promotion. But I do want to say that I think, that you have been someone to me that has always been an open book, and anytime that you and I could even have a small conversation, it was always something that I felt like I learned something from. So I really got to thank you for that. But this ain't my show. I mean, it is partially my show, but you know what I mean? This is the focus on you. So do you have any shout outs, any buddies you'd like to shout out and say, hey, this person helped me, this, or just, hey, I like you, you're a good buddy, whatever.
I can say, even though we all have our disagreements, and stuff like that, I'll say every promoter I worked for,
no
matter who it was, has really treated me well. Okay, yeah. And
even Kroll.
Kroll's a good person. I'll do anything for him, and Tony Falk, and Jason James, anybody that is with the business, I gotta believe they're part of my business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. They're part of your family.
And exactly. If you ignore that person or ignoring somebody from your family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And aren't we living to keep in touch with your family and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's all I can look at. You know, is you know, we have too many guys that are passing. I mean, 2 guys that are sick.
Yeah.
You know, we have, you know, and we know it's life because it does. And I go to church and I pray and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, we got to believe before it. You know, it's real.
Right.
You
right.
know?
Who are you praying to? You know.
Yeah, and the Bible says you live to die. Okay.
Right. Right.
So while we're living, hey, have fun. Be what you can be, you know. But you know what? Remember, you got to always keep that family close to you too.
Yeah.
So.
That's so true. And honestly, there's no better way to end this. That's the perfect sentence to end it on. Man, Gordon, thank you. Really, honestly, it's been a true pleasure. And man, just thank you for doing our podcast.
Well, I hope I gave you enough information and you got something out of it. There's a lot of things that I did not remember myself. But you know, I went to see the wizard, but I think he gave me a heart instead of a brain.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. Well, you got a big both. That's all I'm saying. You got a big brain and a big heart. So thank you.
I appreciate it, guys. And, you know, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
You know, and
thank you.
If you all need anything, you know, I'll be glad to help you all out. You know, I told Shane and you know, I find ways to do things, you know, and I'll get it done. You know, it might take me a couple of days, but you know, I'm just that kind of a person. You know, I don't want to go. You know, and we hate to talk about death sometimes. We hate to talk about, you know, we might not be here tomorrow, but you know what? Like I'm here to do what I can for who I can do it for and what's the purpose for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And, thank you, Gordon. Yeah.
I'm there 100% for anybody that I've met in the business. You know, what I've been lucky to do in the business and stuff like that. And again, I thank both of you for giving me the time. You know, like I said, I apologize that I didn't remember a whole bunch of stuff about things, but I think I gave you important stuff that came to my mind that I definitely had to, you know, wanted to let you all know.
Oh, you did great. I appreciate it. Yeah. And if any more comes to you, we got a part 2 in the future. Just let us know. Okay. So
great.
but yeah, Gordon, man, you know, it's been our true honor and true pleasure. I know you got the big hot rod benefit coming up on Saturday, and then, you know, hopefully we'll see each other soon. And if not, then hopefully sooner than normal. So,
well, that works, you know. I'll be glad to do it once again, and we definitely need to talk more and more, you know. And
yes, sir.
Anything that I can remember and anything, you know, I've been very fortunate to have a wife of 48 years that takes care of me, but she never says no when I'm saying, hey, I'm going to lunch with the guys, or I'm going to a show, or I'm doing this, you know. So she supported me the whole time. So
that's awesome. You found the right one, man. That's awesome. I took too long, but I found her. So
yeah. You know, sometimes it happens that way. So.
It does, man. Well, once again, Gordon, we thank you so much, and hope to see you soon, and we'll talk to you next time, brother. Okay.
Thank you, and y'all have a great night.
Thanks, Gordon.
And that is Gordon Dunaway, y'all. We'll be right back to wrap things up with the Plastic Sheik on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Hey, it's the Heat Miser Scotty Blaze, and I'm inviting all of y'all to join me on my brand new podcast, Turning Up the Heat with the Heat Miser Scotty Blaze. So what are you waiting for? Come on over and join me. I'll be covering all the events of the day, global, national, pop culture, movies, gaming, whatever sounds interesting. But I'll also be playing some awesome skating shuffle music from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. Anything that has a good beat, I'm going to be playing it. You can rest assured. Come on over, tuthradio.com. The podcast is on every major podcast platform. See you then.
This is your rock star ring announcer, Aaron Camaro. I'm a man who believes the two greatest art forms ever created are professional wrestling and heavy rock music. So when I'm not hosting the best parties that also happen to be live professional wrestling shows, I'm hosting the Decibel Geek Podcast. Decibel Geek is a weekly podcast that features discussions of all things rock. We're talking the Beatles, the Stones, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, Black Sabbath, Kiss, Ozzy, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Alice in Chains, Pantera, and everything in between. Plus, we'll turn you on to new bands from today that have the same spirit and style that the legends do. Decibel Geek is hosted by myself along with Rockin' Pod founder Chris Sinzak, and each week you'll get interviews with famous musicians and industry insiders along with informative, entertaining, humorous, and insightful discussions, and most importantly, a passion for the music. So if you love to rock out as much as I do, then this is your invitation to the greatest rock and roll party in all of podcasting. It's Decibel Geek, and it's available right now on all major podcast platforms. Oh yeah!
Oh, Sheik, one more time, man. I tell you, that was a great interview. Great episode with Gordon Dunaway, man. What'd you think about that?
Man, what a great guy. I loved hearing all his stories and, you know, the nostalgia of hearing him talk about Mr. Gaddy's, man. That's pretty awesome, too.
I know. Yeah.
Kind of wasn't expecting that, but that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's places like that you kind of remember from your childhood, and you're like, wow.
I know.
Things have changed sometimes.
I know, and I knew once he said, you know, I was working in a Mr. Gaddy's in Texas, and I knew that he was in Tennessee. I had to bring up the Bristol location. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but anyway, we didn't get to go there too much. I think I remember maybe a few times on one hand. I don't know, but
yeah, a few times. I don't remember a lot either.
Yeah, but lots of fun. I know that place was pretty legendary, especially with people our age. You know what I mean? So it was right there by Viking Hall, so it was all kind of close to everything. And so, yeah. But anyway, yeah, Gordon, we definitely thank you for coming on and telling your story. We had a lot of fun with that. Always appreciate that. You know, trying to think, oh, yeah, well, for next episode, we've actually got it booked already, and I'll go ahead and put that out there. We have Steve Morton on the podcast, one of the further Morton clan of the Morton Brothers tag team with Shane. And, you know, Steve, of course, was on our podcast with the live podcast, and that was a lot of fun. But he's going to get his own episode now, so this ought to be cool, and excited to talk to him. And I know we got that coming up, so y'all keep on the lookout for that. But other than that, I don't have anything else today. Sheik, what do you?
Yeah, not much else, man. It was a great interview with Gordon. Looking to Steve coming up, man. It's a great time to be us, to get these guys that want to tell their story and talk to us a little bit.
Oh, yeah, we've got even more. So just hang on and check us out at GMBMPW on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure you're following, subscribing, all that good stuff. Those are the best places to learn about the next shows we're having and what's going on in the world of Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. Of course, Live and in Color with Wolfie D. We just had the crazy, wild Chris Hamrick on. Definitely an entertaining episode. Just go check that out. And then, of course, Ben Jordan's coming up on Monday. So action-packed all the way around. You know, just excited to be able to bring you all this, and hopefully you all are enjoying it. You know, I did notice one thing, and I talked about this on the Wolfie podcast. It does appear that some of our t-shirts have been bootlegged and are being sold on eBay. So it looks to be like a widespread thing that has happened with pro wrestling tees, but it does appear that majority of them are either the Live It in Color or our t-shirts. So just to say it one more time, the only official place to buy a t-shirt with Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling is either through Pro Wrestling Tees, the official site that we sell them through, or if for some crazy reason we have something. Obviously, anywhere else other than that is not official, and do not spend your money, because it looks like it'll be more expensive to go through the eBay option anyway. So I'm not sure how we can fix that. I have reached out to Pro Wrestling Tees to see if they're at least aware of the situation, and we're going to see if we can get that figured out. But long story short, only place to buy official Live in Color with Wolfie D or Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast t-shirts is through the one and only Pro Wrestling Tees. Okay, that said, we thank you all so much. Y'all are awesome as always. Hope you enjoyed Gordon. I know we did, and we will see you all next time on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Don't forget.
Tell them what you said, Gordon.
Jimmy, take it easy. Just breathe, all right?
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life. This has been a James Rock Street production.